Welcome once again to Hunter's Entertainment on Twitch.tv. My name is Noxweiler Burf, and I am your game master and guide through the dark and mysterious world of Outbreak Undead. This campaign is known as Rag and Bone. Each of the survivors here, these players that we have gathered for you tonight, have been through a number of ordeals. We have begun to slowly pick away at what makes them who they are. We have discovered some of their secrets. We have seen their past. And we have begun to speculate about what the future might hold for each of them. Currently, they are finding themselves deep within a bunker that is connected to a series of coal mines somewhere in the wilds outside of what was once known as Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. A small community reached out to the group known as the Rag and Bone, or Ender's Line by some. They were tasked with arriving within the Grey Ridge community and lending assistance, bringing aid where it is needed most. The doctor that is the leader of that community had begun to synthesize penicillin, and there is a horrible, though regular, flu that has been racking the few remaining survivors within a number of communities that are scattered within this collective, this group that is held together by the rail lines that are operated by a brave group of individuals who seek to make sure that food, supplies, and medicine are taken to the far reaches of the wilderness. A wilderness that used to be a world that we all know quite well. We have much to discuss tonight. As you know, we are partnered with Fourteller, and we have Scry available to you now. If you're unfamiliar with what the Scry program is, we have a number of amazing moderators that work here with us at Hunter's Entertainment. They will usher you into this world. They will aid you in aiding these players. You are not simply a viewer when you join us here at Rag and Bone. You are a member of a survivor community, and what you choose and how you direct resources will directly affect tonight's session and every session thereafter. Make your choices very carefully. However, they will explain to you how you can join in. It is very simple, and we encourage you to do so. We also would like to thank you for your support. There are many of you who have shared your appreciation for our offerings across social media, and that does a great amount of aid to us. It helps us. It supports what we are trying to do here. We are currently attempting to gather as many subscriptions and follows as possible. If we gain 15 subscriptions or 100 follows within any week, we will be awarding the players an additional competency point. I'm sorry to say that this week we did not reach our goal, meaning that the players will only have 3 competency points to aid them along the way as they are tested by the situations and challenges that I will place them into the middle of. This is a dark game. It is a game filled with realistic dangers. While there are the Walking Dead, truly some of the most insidious evils can be found within the human heart. I have spoken with all of the players, and we have set forth our boundaries. We have discussed consent, and we have carefully mapped out the road that we will be walking upon. We would like to offer you the same courtesy. When you join us tonight, there will be a number of content warnings. We recommend that you look at them very closely. I would also like to thank JB Jara for the technical assistance tonight. We're glad to have him back. Also, Alex Hillman is with us and is helping us to maintain everything behind the scenes. As always, we are grateful for his contributions and wish to welcome him and tell him happy birthday. Allow me to introduce you to the survivors of this tale. Markia, would you like to introduce yourself and tell people who you'll be playing tonight?
Hello, I'm Markia McCarty. I'm part of Hunter's Entertainment here. You'll see me a little bit of everywhere, especially if you look in our VODs. I also do well, I will have a number of things coming up. One of which is a campaign with Roll20, so more on that when that comes along, and then some other things I can't really talk about right now. But for if you enjoy your horror podcast, and you must enjoy horror if you're here with us tonight, then check out my podcast, Something Scary, or you can check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/snarled, and where we do animated horror episodes weekly. So, as for the character that I'm playing tonight, Achira Sampson. She just wanted to eat dinner, and everything else got in the way. The person that she was looking after got their neck cranked under her watch, and yeah, there's gonna be some fallout that happens. She's kind of hangry right now.
I'm very excited to see how that resolves itself. Michelle, would you like to introduce yourself and tell everyone a little bit about who you will be portraying?
Sure. I'm Michelle Bradley. I am playing Juniper, and if you've been paying attention to this show for more than 2 episodes, also Olive. Last week was a lot of fun, being basically two sides of a coin, and I'm excited to see where that goes. Sorry, I killed your doctor. Technically, it wasn't me; it was the other person. You can find me everywhere on the internet at I am Chubby Bunny. I am on here every Tuesday, and on every Wednesday, I'm over at Official Paizo's Twitch, playing their Pathfinder Beginner Box, which is super fun. I have a new project just announced with Savage Worlds. It is the Savage Worlds Pathfinder collaboration game they're releasing. The Kickstarter starts next Tuesday, and then a show connected with that coming out next Tuesday as well. And that is all from me for now. Oh, also, if you guys want to go to the Hunter's Entertainment store, we have, I think Ricky has one on too, the Hype Tank tanks. It's very hard to get on screen because it's very low. So if you guys want to join the Hype Tank, you can do so.
We are delighted by the offerings that have been placed there. Please, if you are interested, find your way to the Hunter's Entertainment merchandise store and indulge yourself in a little bit of a Hype Tank, or perhaps a location hazard t-shirt so that you can stop asking and start pointing. Thank you again for being with us, Michelle. We are honored by your presence, both of you. Luis, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Lampwick?
Oh, yeah. I'm Luis Carrazzo. I'm here every Tuesday. And on occasion, you can find me in other places. You can find me on social media to figure out when those other places happen. My first name and last name, put those together. You'll find me on Twitter and on Instagram and all those other places. I also have a Hype Tank, but it's right over there. And I meant to put it on, but it's looking at me. And I'm playing Lampwick. Oh man, Lampwick Lampwick just wanted to sleep. That's all he wanted to do last time. But that didn't work out very well. Look, I feel like Lampwick is in an interesting place because up till now, pre-apocalypse and even post, there was a certain way about doing things that would often work in his favor, and and now we're here in a bunker and we're kind of screwed. So I'm curious to see how he moves forward. So we'll see about that.
Thank you again for being with us. We have so much to do tonight. So many pathways to walk. I don't want to waste any more time. We'll be right back.
Do you copy? I repeat, I'm gonna need a little more cooperation out of y'all before the night falls again on this grade A shitstorm. Who's got eyes on the package? Please, tell me someone has her. It's been 3 goddamn days and not a single one of you has brought us much more than condolences and bad news. Grey Ridge has been salvaged. The fire didn't take it all. I guess we have my Enders to thank for that. They showed up at the 11th with that rusted out old rig with a water tank big enough to make the difference. That said, what is left of the old farmhouse ain't much to look at from what Zeke and Ginger had to say about it. And what the living hell is the Citadel playing at? Rowan's gone radio silent, and when I've made calls to Riggs and Sharkey, I get the runaround. Someone put this into perspective for me here. Are they holding onto the dock? Did they just take their motherfucking tank and leave? Do we still have bodies in the mine shafts? Any other cave-ins? From what Jamal and Frankie are saying, we don't have much time if anyone else is down there in those underground bunkers. They've got limited supplies and the air might be compromised. Just keep digging, and let's put out another call to the locals. The Enders line needs to come through here. We need those meds. I just got word from Haven. 6 more dead, 12 more sick. Also, what the fuck was that nonsense that Ahmed was rambling on about unnatural Romeros? There ain't a solitary fucking natural thing about any of this. Where are we at with those tunnels? I got supplies en route. That doctor is it, friends. I got jack shit otherwise on this one. Find her, please and thank you.
Confinement. The world ended on Monday, August 29th, 1995. The sky fell and the dead would not die. Civilization quickly collapsed and a sickness spread like lightning to even the most remote reaches of the world. They called it many things, but it started out simply as another round of the summer flu. It became something far, far worse. H195, commonly called the Legacy or the Widow's Kiss, as the dead seemed to become even more infectious after they passed away. At first, it seemed as though no one was immune from the airborne strain, but eventually it appeared that 0.01% of the population had a natural immunity. Even those lucky souls who couldn't withstand a concentrated introduction of the virus, however, because through a bite or a deep scratch or blood-to-blood contact, those who came in contact with the virus quickly turned. The end of days were like wildfire, and throughout the world, people sought refuge. Security. There was none to be had. They were lost. Alone. Entire cities burned away, but miraculously some still survived. And for the next 25 years, life has struggled forward. This world is fractured, but some are still seeking bravely to find and make civilization anew. The Enders Line uses old railway tracks to connect small and scattered outposts and settlements across the Midwest United States. What was left from that world that we all know quite well. The shattered, empty remains. The ghost of what we know. Life begins again. It has stretched back out. It has reclaimed what was once taken from it. Progress in industry has disappeared, and a new, wild, unkempt land lies before those who are surviving. The rag and bone merchants who travel these rail lines are a lifeline in a world that now belongs to the dead. It is hard to tell how long you've been here. You return to this place so often, usually when you're sleeping. This is your endless nightmare. You wake from it time and time again in a cold sweat. The metal walls that ring out around you. The large, immobile doorway that leads to the world outside. The rumbling all around you is the container that you are contained within is pulled to an unknown destination. Your home, your life. Those last fragments of a world that held on to some amount of normality was left behind. It is cold. You are starving, surrounded by boxes of medical equipment. Achira, you have been here for so long. You are dying. The walls are all around you. The echoes of what you have done are your only companions. And they mock you in the dark of this place. You've begun seeing things. You've begun hearing things. There are times when you think that you smell your brother's cologne. He always wore this cheap aftershave that was given to him by your uncle every year for Christmas for the longest time. He reeked of it, but you know that he wore it because it reminded him of family. And now you smell it again. You've begun chewing on the paper from the containers of some of these medical supplies. It helps to alleviate some of the hunger. You've tried swallowing it, but you stopped doing that. It made you horribly sick, violently so. And you know that you can't risk losing any more water. You've done what you can. While you're in this space, with the smell of that cologne near you, in the darkness, Achira, what do you do?
Achira starts walking around the container. She knows the spatial awareness of this container so well. Achira didn't do any of those scared straight or anything kind of programs through school, so she doesn't really get the concept of solitary confinement, but she knows that as a visceral experience now, as her main activity while she's in this container is either once again trying to find food or water that is not there and walking around and trailing her hand along the edges of this metal as she keeps on pacing and walking around. She smells her brother's perfume, cologne, and she thinks of who raised them. And every now and again, her mind goes to how she took care of who she considered to be her brother's killer, of how she led her brother's girlfriend into that alleyway of Romero's and watched as they took her down. And those are the only times that, besides when she thinks of her brother, that Achira giggles and is happier.
When you think about Surya and her face when she was pulled into that alley outside of the hospital, those ragged, broken bodies that were lunging forward, their eyes were white and bulging from their skulls, slavering like animals. They had lost any sense of humanity and were overtaken with fury, rage, hatred. There was nothing there. No understanding of what they were doing. They were just attacking, ripping, shredding, and pulling. And in that moment, you smile as you starve, dehydrated and delusional, because her death was so horrendous that you feel as if Blaine might have been avenged in that moment, but then everything, the world around you, fell apart as if this were your fault. As if the whole world crashing around you after your brother's suicide was some sort of twisted, sick punishment for your own actions.
A small voice inside of her is very certain that if Blaine had lived, things might have been different.
You
if she
might
had
have been
known
different.
earlier. She even says this to herself and hears it echoed back to her every now and again while she paces the container.
You realize that you are talking to yourself. You don't know how long that's been going on. You aren't thinking any longer, you're just conversing. And as you lie there, no longer able to walk, you hear the movements outside, the shouts, and everything for you is about to begin anew. Lampwick, you are inside of an RV. It is very small and cramped. There are an assortment of packages that have been shredded and tossed across the room. There is a pile of filthy diapers covering the floor. Empty baby food jars are piled up in a sink. You wake up with an enormous hangover, an empty bottle of whiskey next to you, and the screaming of the baby. It pierces through your head, that crying. It causes you endless pain. Next to you, lying nude, is a woman that you have come to know. Sandra, another survivor. You've been playing around now for a few days. She doesn't really like to do much except drink. She's really not taking what's going on in the world well. But then again, neither are you. You don't know how old the baby is. She's young. Very young. You've named her accidentally Isabel. And now everyone in the camp thinks that your daughter is named after your ex-lover, the one who betrayed you. You've never been the victim of a con. You are the one who performs the con. And yet, you fell hard for her lines. You believed what she told you. She convinced you. You committed murder for her. You made mistakes. But now, it's as if the rest of the world fell apart around you. And now you're in this small RV. What do you do?
I'm gonna nudge the woman that's next to me.
She
Hey.
rolls over and grabs a blanket, covering herself up, ignoring you, pushing herself into a pillow. Just a little longer.
I'm gonna nudge one more time. Come on, it's your turn. I took care of the thing last time. It's your turn.
It's not my kid. It's your kid. Just do something about it. I think I'm gonna vomit again. And
All right.
she bends over the fold-out bed and starts to unload the contents of her stomach, and a sour whiskey smell infuses this small space. It does nothing to worsen the situation because it already smells like turned, horrid, rotten diaper.
I'm gonna get out of the line of fire if any of that splashes. I'm gonna move over to Isabel.
In the back, past the folded doorway of the restroom, a small room holds a crib. It is taped together. There is a mobile across the top of it that has a number of plastic, colorful toys that have been tied to it. You've done the best you can to try to provide a secure sleeping area, but it's so much work. More work than you've ever put into anything, Lampwick, to be perfectly honest. She's crying again. You don't know what she wants, food or to be changed. It's usually one of the other.
I'm gonna pick her up and I guess see if she needs to be changed. And
her diaper is full, far past the point where it should be. Do you feel anything, Lampwick? You hadn't intended to become that drunk.
no, I look back at the woman in the bed and then look at Isabel and what the fuck am I doing? I'm gonna start to change the kid's diaper.
You clean Isabel. Once she is clean and dry and in fresh clothing, her bright eyes and clean face look up at you, and she smiles and reaches out towards your beard with a soft, small hand. She coos. After everything that you've done, the horrendous care that you've given, what you see in this child's eyes is pure, unjudging love.
I'm gonna hug the kid and I'm gonna sit on the ground right where I am and just hold her in my arms and enjoy the quiet for a moment.
You find solitude. And for the first time in your life, Lampwick, you begin to question who you are. Really question who you are. And for you, this is your doorway. A pathway. A road that leads forward for you. Juniper, the fire is crackling It is warm, and your sister sits across from you. She's roasting a squirrel that the two of you caught earlier. It's been quiet. She's not been talking to you. It's clear that what happened with the man who called himself David Horowitz didn't go over well. His neck was slashed. The knife had cut through to the bone. Those people were trying to help you. They were offering you a place to be. And your mind is fuzzy. It doesn't line up. You remember him talking to you and telling you that before the world changed, that he was able to help people, and that he's been helping people like you who needed him. But you don't remember why or how. Your sister seems to sense that you are lingering on this moment. Are you really going to keep, worrying about all this?
Just, I don't know, don't you ever get tired of all the going back and forth? And I don't know, it might be nice to stay in one place for a while, for more than a week.
We've tried that and it failed, right? It's not like anyone's going to accept us or really know us. We have each other. We just don't need others.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's just the two of us, but I feel like everyone else that we took stuff from, they kind of, they had it coming, and that group was just, that old guy was just old. I don't really know.
He wasn't just old. He was trying to take you from me.
What are you talking about? We were both there together. We were gonna, lay low, get fed.
He wanted me to leave. Juniper, you need me, and I will never leave you. You are my sister. We are one. We've shared everything, and I won't let him or any of them hurt you ever again.
I know, Olive. I shouldn't be worrying about this. You're right. It's fine the way it's always been. Why would you change anything? Dumb. At least we got out of there. Did you get some good stuff?
I did.
What'd you get?
She smiles and shyly opens a pack and pours out a number of cans that are stacked up. They're very old, and some other jars that have been more freshly made, some canned goods and some jarred pickles and other things that have been preserved. And so she pulls all this food out, and then she stops and she produces a gun. He wasn't just nice. He had this under his bed.
Well, I guess he didn't figure out how to use it.
He sure didn't.
This is great. We have so much food now. We don't talk to anybody. You're
Behind
right.
you, a twig snaps. Who's there? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. There is a girl, probably in her early 20s, standing in the clearing. She has dark curly hair, and she has a patch over one eye with a bandage wrapped around her neck. She looks like she's hurt and has been through a lot. Her clothing is ragged and dirty. She's walking with a makeshift crutch made out of a tree limb. I just, I saw the fire. People call me Sarah Lee. I just wondered if I could just maybe sit with you by the fire for a little while.
Olive, what do you think?
I want you to be happy, but we don't need other people. We just need each other, don't we?
Yeah, but she looks kind of messed up.
She could be lying. I'm sorry, who are you talking to? Are you...
You speak when you're spoken to, buddy. Hold on. Okay, I'll go check.
She starts backing away, clearly afraid.
I go up to her.
I knew she couldn't be trusted. The gun fires twice, and she drops to the ground. Your sister is holding it. Sarah Lee is dead. And all of you are holding the gun.
Just the two of us.
JB, begin the timer. Currently, Kusanagi, Rowan, and Philippe have left the bunker. The door has been slammed. Its large iron frame shuts you away from the rest of them. The survivors have been divided. This concrete bunker, this safe house deep beneath the ground near the Grey Ridge community, it is your sanctuary. It is the safe house that you have found and utilized since you have escaped the horrors of everything that has happened out in the world. Hordes of the dead, like nothing any of you have seen, swarmed that place. A dinner bell was rung, and many, many died. An entire community fell, and in your attempts as survivors to protect, shelter, and save those of whom you were tasked to aid, dynamite exploded. The walls crumbled, and while there were others from the outside that arrived, it was too late. The group known as the Citadel sent many well-armed individuals and in a large tank to the location. Lampwick suffered an enormous, horrid wound across his side, nearly dying. If it were not for Dr. Maria Espinosa, who had been ushered here by Achira, Lampwick most certainly would have died. Juniper, your times within the mine have not been any better. You have found a few other of the groups from the outside that were seeking to salvage what was left behind here. Not only are there a number of these safe houses deep beneath the ground underneath Grey Ridge, but there are also a number of storehouses containing some of the medicines that the doctor was making, held here under tight security for just this sort of a situation. However, the tunnels are a labyrinth. They are dangerous, and now many of them are collapsed. Each of you is here now, along with Aria Cantos, another survivor. the severed head of an individual known once as Blockbuster, a completely ignored dinner, and a number of clamshell VHS tapes that have been left open on a coffee table. There are 2 small children here, both of them wild-looking, red-headed children who were being protected by the doctor and her people at Grey Ridge. Juniper has taken them under her wing, and Lampwick, you have recently come to understand the danger that is present here, as they revealed to you what they knew to be true. That Juniper is also Olive, and that Olive is dangerous. The doctor is now dead by her hands, and none here will question how very, very precarious this situation has become. Your allies from the Citadel, along with the strange but, though eccentric, very useful Kusanagi, have left. All of you are now sitting in the quiet, in the pale darkness of this place, while the generator continues to hum and putter behind the caged walls of the rooms that have been erected here. It is a wide, flat, open space. However, there have been cots that have been erected and small rooms that have been barricaded out of it. There is an explosion. As you push the door closed, Achira, you stand there, waiting. As it rumbles and dust erupts from out underneath the very small cracks and crevices that hold this door in place, you are physically knocked to the ground. The door is buckled and bent, but still closed. All of you need to make an endurance check. That is 2 degrees of success. Juniper, congratulations. You are not temporarily deafened by the reverberations of this loud explosion. Lampwick, that is 2 degrees of failure. Would you like to take those 2 degrees of failure, or would you like to use your competency points to manage it?
I'm going to take that.
You drop to the ground and your ears are ringing, as it is as if there's a vacuum in this space and everything goes numb for a moment. Achira, you have 2 degrees of failure. You're right next to the door. Do you wish to take this, or do you wish to use your competency points?
It makes sense to take it.
And I'm sorry to say, given your situation, nothing is new about your surroundings. This will not be another location hazard. The bunker has given you all of the gifts that it has to give. You drop to the ground, your ears ringing in pain. Arya screams. The children are crying now. What do all of you do?
Is that door secure? That's the first thing I want to make sure. Is it closed? Is it locked? I don't know. What the fuck just happened?
It's closed enough. Otherwise, I don't know what could have happened to all of us in this enclosed space.
I think it came from outside. Come on, kids. I move the kids into like the corner of the room, so there's like more, I don't know, structure. Try to comfort them.
They are hesitant at first. I want you to make a calm other roll for me, please, Juniper, because I will remind you that you just broke someone's neck.
I mean,
Well,
it was such a long time ago.
Your sister broke someone's neck in
Oh
front
my
of
god.
them.
Oh,
That's so bad.
That is 5 degrees of failure. Do you wish to ride this out? It is a catastrophic failure.
Yeah. So I am gonna use. So I would normally have 3 competency points, but I have 5 because I took the skill using my Gestalt earlier today. Was it called? The skill is called
Efficiency.
yes,
Efficient?
efficient, something like that. Anyway, it gives you 2 more competency points at the very beginning of the game.
I would say that if you are going to use your competency, you are allowed to. With 5 degrees of failure, I will make you make a composure check, and we will resolve the stress that you have immediately been put under.
Okay.
And there is a very real chance, given this explosion and the danger that you perceive yourself to be in, that Juniper may slip away and Olive may take over. Now, if you do not wish this to happen, you can use your competency. If you wish to bank your competency because you have no idea about what else will happen in this session, I fully understand.
God damn it. Oh, it's such a hard decision to make. I'm gonna use all 5. I'm just using all my competency right now so that it's wash. Well,
a wash is still a failure, but you do not terrify these children. You have regained some small amount of sympathy within their eyes as they look upon you. However, they do not come to you. They continue to hide underneath the furniture, staying as far away from you and everyone else as possible. They are holding on to each other, and tears are streaking down their dirty faces. Near the doorway, I will remind you once again, the dead body of the doctor is lied sprawled out, and the severed head of a very strange Romero is leaking a thick black bile across the floor. Achira, you are now lying also like a broken rag doll in this place, holding onto your head as it is as if you were caught within a snare drum and it were forcibly hit 1,000 times over.
What? Lampwick, are you?
Wait, just one sec. I wanna listen to see if there's any noise or commotion outside.
I'm going to give you 3 black dice of difficulty to roll a spot listen. Your ears are ringing, and it is unlikely that you will be able to hear beyond whatever is on the other side of that door now.
Let's see. 1 degree failure.
Would anyone else like to try to listen beyond the door?
Sure, why not? 3 degrees of
3 black dice. Your difficulty is going to be increased in that way.
I don't think I would check.
All right. Lampwick and Achira both fail with 1 degree of failure. You can't hear anything. Your ears are both ringing.
I'm gonna make my way towards Achira, make sure that she's all right.
Arya stumbles and almost falls over the couch. What is happening?
Take care of that.
Did they do that? Did they blow the tunnel behind them?
Oh. She there's over in the cage, she rushes over to the cage where the supplies have been stored across metal racks, and Arya, stumbling, clearly still high as a kite, drags out and very harshly drops a wooden box. It is rectangular. It is about 3.5 feet in length. It has 2 rope handles, and on the side you can see painted U.S. military in rough spray. She throws the lid off, and you see very tightly packed red sticks.
Who else sees that? Is that
Everyone in the room that is in the
Oh.
center by the couch sees this as she drops what looks to be probably 20 sticks of dynamite in a wooden box down on the ground. This is a very old looking box too.
Oh no.
Arya, just back away? Just
This is
back
what
away real quick?
I did a scene. It was all about defusing a bomb, and they had like 6 sticks of dynamite tied together with a timer, and I had to cut the wires while I was hanging upside down. And I
Right,
want
but
to
that's
tell
not
you,
right now. So I need for you to back away from the box real
Yeah.
quick. Do you want to come back over here next? to me?
yeah, I'll do that. Are we gonna eat dinner still?
We're gonna eat right now. As soon as we, why don't
Yeah.
you go sit over there and get yourself ready? We'll make sure we'll fix something up for you right now.
Yeah,
You'll
that's probably best. And she turns and starts to walk, but just drops and hits the ground.
All right. I'm
Oh.
gonna go get the dynamite. I'm sure Achira and I are both probably. I mean, I'm going straight for the dynamite to try to secure it and get it away from her.
It is very clear that this box has been recently opened, and there are about 3 or 4 sticks of dynamite that are missing.
They did
I
this.
share that. Yeah, they did this. I think
They did this. They tried to bury us in this bunker.
Yeah, it looks like it. What's the safest place to put this? We need to make sure that some people don't get reckless.
Right. Not near the generator, and not wherever the children will be, since some people like to hang out near the children
Right.
when they're normal,
Yeah.
when they're how I know them as.
Right. I'm gonna take it to one. I know there was like a rooms off to the side, not where the generator is.
Now, I want to reiterate that when I say rooms, they are chain link fence
Right.
that have been stretched with blue tarp. They will conceal things. You could even secure things under certain circumstances. Some of these do lock, but they're not separate rooms per se.
Are there any blankets? The
Yes.
thought process being tying a blanket around it and knotting it up so that it's, either that or like a hammer and some nails to nail the lid back down with it.
We might need to use them to get out. Got to make sure that we can access it.
Then we can
Without-
open it back up.
I pop out of the room that I'm in, kind of push the tarp aside. Hey, what are you doing with all that dynamite, huh? Was that you just exploded the whole hallway? What's going on?
No, definitely not us. We need to situate ourselves. We need to get something to eat. We need to put this in a safe place.
Just put it in your bag, idiot. Jesus.
This is volatile. If I
Just put it in your bag for now, and then, we're not gonna blow it up, are we? Who are you worried about? The weirdo over there, laying on the ground?
Yeah, that's one person
Yeah.
that's worrisome.
Yeah, that's the main threat right now.
If
I'm just
any
gonna-
of you have survival,
Yeah.
I can give you some information about how to properly handle and care for this dynamite. If any of you have any advanced technical skills that would be very clear about how you might utilize explosives, you might be able to find a way to utilize it to help your situation. But I think all of you know through the small amount of information that you've gleaned over your life, most of you before the fall of the world, that dynamite is very volatile, very dangerous. This is common knowledge. So whatever choices you make on what to do with this box, they need to be clear.
I will roll survival. Any difficulty dice?
Yes. because you are not educated in the same way that many of the others are, the type of survival that you understand is more of a wilderness survival where you are able to forage and find shelter and care for yourself very easily. This is beyond what you are used to. However, you have heard some stories. So I will add 3 black dice to your survival roll, and we will see how you do. And you have used all 5 of your competency already. Is that correct,
Yup,
Juniper?
all gone.
All right.
I do.
Oh no.
I do want Achira to roll for this, but in the sense of one of her strong points is that she's able to find hidden caches. Like she is a stealthy scout, and she's adept at bartering and trading. So I think that she would know dynamite.
What skill are you suggesting that you use?
Well, barter wouldn't, she's not, it's like it's the knowledge that comes from extensive bartering that I want to trade on this, just like
I will allow you to make a barter check to have knowledge, but not to have the skills to necessarily deal with it.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Yes, definitely.
I will, however, give you 2 black dice of difficulty. Juniper, you have rolled a 96%. That is 5 degrees of failure. I would like for you to make a composure roll, please.
Okay, that's good.
As the explosion and now the presence of this dynamite is going to severely tax you.
And no other dice added to that, just straight?
No, straight
Okay.
composure roll this time. You've not failed any of them yet. That is 2 degrees of failure, and there's nothing that you can do about it. If you get a 3rd degree of failure on any composure check, you are going to lose control, and Olive will take over. Do you understand?
Yep. Are y'all? I try my best.
Achira, you have 2 degrees of failure on your barter roll. I will give you this, however. Is there anything that you wish to do with your competency to try to adjust that?
No. I'm okay with a stealthy scout not knowing the intricacies of dynamite.
You, however, start looking around and you realize that it's dangerous. It is explosive. It has to be cordoned off behind concrete or something solid. And you realize that you might be able to find some smaller niche within this space. You might be able to find someplace safer to place it. Even though you yourself know very little about how to handle it, you might be able to find a cache that you could place it within that might be beneficial to the group.
Those are my thoughts exactly. If they're going to be putting something dangerous here, then chances are they will have had something planned to keep it safe. They wouldn't just toss us in here as like I mean, this is a safe house. They wouldn't do that to their safe house. So I want to help look for whatever little like slot or opening of any sort.
Whatever nook this
I want
was.
you both to make spot and listen checks, and there are no difficulty attached to that. And I will allow you, because of Achira's attempt, to add your successes or your failures together.
Copy that.
Meanwhile, that's 3 degrees of success for you, Lampwick. Meanwhile, Juniper, are you doing anything else as you're watching all of this?
I think since I failed so bad, I would just assume that this has something to do with me, and I would just start wandering around the bunker because I haven't seen it. I don't think. Well, let me think. How? I've only seen a little bit of it. I kind of walk over to the doctor while they're in the corner yelling about finding nooks and crannies. And man, I guess I knew the doctor was dead. Olive, did you do this? And Juniper's looking over, and she's looking at Olive.
Olive looks back to you. She was going to hurt us. I had to do it. No one else, of course, sees or hears who Juniper is talking to, but it is clear that June is talking to someone in the room.
Well, if you say so, I mean, but...
No, you heard what Kusanagi said. Kusanagi was right. She's experimenting on people. We both saw the basement. You were there too.
Yeah, I know.
We grabbed the kids and we ran.
Yeah, we did.
She was doing things down there. She was hurting people. They were gross, but she needed to be taken care of. She was going to hurt us.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm having trouble remembering that part.
And how well do you know them? She begins suspiciously, eyeing over Lampwick, Achira, Arya on the floor.
Oh, the one on the floor. I don't. She's dead to me. I mean, clearly.
Do you say that aloud?
Yep. I don't know who she is, but anyway, the other ones are fine. They're fine.
Lampwick, you can spend your competency if you wish to mitigate Achira's failure. Together, you have 1 degree of failure on this roll.
Is it possible for me to just take that failure onto myself?
You may.
I think Achira was trying to focus on finding the niche, but has had half an ear on what Juniper is doing and saying, and then has heard what she just said about Arya laying on the ground. We're like, oh, that one's dead to me. And the last time someone was prone on the ground and vulnerable, we know what happened to them. So I think at that, Achira has like just completely given up this search and is going to head over to Arya to try to, I don't know, drag her somewhere, or to make certain that certain people know that, you know.
There is a price to this adjustment, however. And Lampwick, I would like for you to make an endurance check, please.
All right.
Your side is racked with pain. Do you wish to spend anything?
I'll spend 2.
2
points.
competency points to make that a single success.
Yeah.
You bite through the pain, and you feel blood freshly filling the bandage underneath your shirt as you stumble forward, as you were bending over trying to look down towards the low cinder blocks of this space. However, in lingering because of the pain of your wound at your side, you did manage to spot something that you might have otherwise missed. A number of these cinder blocks do not look as if they have been firmly set into the wall. There is a gap, and it seems to mark out a 3x3 area that is connected to the concrete floor.
I'm going to start to move that out of the way and make room for the box of dynamite that will hopefully position carefully into that slot.
You pull a large section of the wall out, and you can see that while it was never meant to be easily moved, that it indeed does have a small area that has been carved out of this space, but you've only pulled that block a short distance. I need you to make a lift pull with 3 degrees of difficulty, 3 dice of difficulty on the roll. And everyone witnesses and hears the scraping noise as Lampwick, first of all, biting back pain and grumbling and moaning, pulls this block of stone backward. You don't even get it more than an inch or 2. With 4 degrees of failure, I need you to make another endurance check unless you wish to spend further competency points.
I'm going to take my chances with the endurance check for now.
All right, so make your endurance check, please.
Okay.
Three degrees of failure. Is there anything that you wish to do? What do you think happens to Lampwick in this moment?
I mean, if this has to do with the wound, then I mean, I'm gonna spend some competency points because what I want to not happen is uh so here's how I see it. I underestimated the effort that it was going to require, and like the effort that I put in trying to move that um kind of started to tear the bandaging, and any of the stuff that's happened on my wound started to kind of split it open. And I want to, in the moment that I notice something is wrong there, I'm going to stop and not make that get worse. So I'm gonna spend 2 competency points to make that just 1 degree of failure. So that wound, I'm trying to keep from getting worse.
That's a very, very good choice, Lampwick. Now, I have been challenging you here in this scenario, but I will tell you that you would have broken your stitches, and it would have caused you additional harm. That harm is going to be something that is going to be more and more difficult for you to heal the more you aggravate these wounds. You were bedridden just an hour ago before all of this happened. And now you're trying to pull large stones from the wall. You realize your fragility and you stop. You're now slumped across the wall, and it is clear that you cannot do this on your own.
Chira, I can't do this. I need help, but I found the place. I just need a hand.
Chira looks over at Lampwick and then looks down at Arya, who's vulnerable and prone on the ground. Like Lampwick's over there, like struggling, and then looks over at Juniper, who is just like, and Chira's like, how heavy is Arya to drag? Like, does she weigh a lot? She doesn't seem like she weighs a lot, yeah?
She's light. You were unwounded, if I recall, and you are able to move her fairly easily. Where are you going to put her?
I'm going to put her further away from Juniper. I want to, like, even if it's just like fireman carry, to sit her in the kitchen, because I'm going to, ultimately my intention is to try, now that Lampwick has been basically stitched up by a legitimate doctor, I'm going to try first aid on him with what I can find, and I've got the competency points to hopefully make that happen this time.
That is understandable. What is your intention in this moment, Juniper? You feel yourself slipping, and you and your sister are conversing quietly in the hallway.
I would like to finish up this conversation and kind of poke at Blockbuster's head, because I believe this is the first time I'm seeing it.
It is the first time that you've chose to recognize it, but
to investigate it, basically.
The horribly mangled and severed head of the man that you know saved your life is looking up at you with cold, empty, white eyes. A thick, black, viscous fluid is pooled around the base of that head. His jaw has been completely removed, and his tongue, which seems elongated and strange, is lolled out from the base of his neck.
Why is it still in here? Sorry, dude. Thanks for, I don't know, trying to help us, I guess. I just kind of want to push it to the corner of the room. I don't want to, like, it's in the middle of the room, and I think that's weird. I kind of push it towards the door, as I'm making my way towards to see what happened to the door with my foot.
I understand. I would like for you I'm going to need you to make a roll here, Juniper.
I mean, I'm rolling ahead.
It's not that the head is difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It's an easy thing to do. You push it further along. Make an endurance check, please.
Ah, god damn it. Any difficulty?
No difficulty
Cool.
at this time.
God damn it. One failure.
And there's nothing that you can do about that one failure?
Nope. Oh.
The head is now across the room. Your shoe is soaked through with this black viscous fluid. There's a smear of it that has been pushed across the space. The concrete floor is filthy with it. I would like everyone to make a spot listen check, please.
God damn it, guys.
That is 3 degrees of failure on Lampwick's part, 1 degree of failure on Achira's part, and 1 degree of failure on Juniper's part. Never mind.
Fine.
We'll continue on. So your intention is to move the head, and then Lampwick, what is your intention while this happens?
I'm stabilizing myself, so I'm waiting for Achira and maybe anyone else that comes along to try to help secure this area that I found, move the bricks away.
Across the room, sitting there, is
Yes.
the dynamite in a box.
Mhm.
You have this small blockish passageway door that has been carved out of the side of this space. It's only been pulled forth about 1 inch, and you are on the ground.
I'm gonna, since I know now my job is not to do that physical part, I'm gonna get up and move towards the dynamite and carefully retrieve it and bring it back to where I am.
All right.
Safely.
So that is your intention. I need everyone to make a couple of rolls here. We've already had Juniper make her check. I will roll your speed dice. I would like for Achira and Lampwick to both make checks as well. For you to, you're going to do a lift pull with 3 dice of, let's do 2 dice of black dice of difficulty and 2 speed dice, Lampwick. And then Achira, I need you to also roll 2 dice and a lift pull to move Arya across the space. No dice of difficulty for you.
Now,
I'm sorry,
okay.
I didn't hear for me the 2 speed dice.
2 speed dice and lift pull with no dice of difficulty.
Thank you.
So of a straight roll. And Lampwick, you have 2 dice of difficulty and 2 speed dice as well.
So while I'm picking up the dynamite, I'm now like really sensitive to what my body is telling me. So the moment I sense that this is gonna cause any pain, I'm gonna stop short. So I'm
Understood.
not taking any risks.
So if you fail this, I will not allow you to harm yourself further, but I will also barter with you, and we will decide what sort of failure is more appropriate.
Got it.
Achira, you have 1 degree of success. You manage. She's heavier than she looks, but you do manage to move her to the kitchen without a problem. Lampwick, you have 3 degrees of failure. Do you have any competency left?
I have 1 left.
Do you wish to save it, or do you wish to just take 3 degrees of failure and not have it move at all?
I'm gonna have it not move at all. I'm gonna take the 3.
You begin lifting it, and you feel that stress against your stitches and the pain in your side, and you realize that it's just not a good idea. You have failed to move it at all.
You hear a cheer, a call from the kitchen. No, just stop.
I will.
Just...
I'm gonna.
And then last, you finish kicking the head, rolling it like a ball across the room and into the hallway. That black bile is now smeared across the space. And go ahead and make a spot listen again, Juniper, please. No dice of difficulty added to that.
4 failures.
Never mind. Very well.
I didn't mean to make a big mess, but maybe no one will notice.
Where is Juniper in proximity to me right now?
I had headed towards the door. Not sure
You
where
do not
took-
see Juniper at all. She has
Okay.
just stepped into the hallway. It's the only part of this room which is actually covered by full wall, and
Right.
that's because it is carved from the rock around this space in the mines, and then it opens up into the large space that everyone has as a communal space. However, that entryway, that alcove, is a longer hallway. I've just taken a look here at a few things, as it seems that our allies in chat have been very busy.
But
Now, um, as you begin to settle, are there any other broad actions that you would like to talk about, as this is a fairly calm moment?
Chira still wants to do first aid on Lampwick.
Very well. I will tell you this much. Your first aid will be called upon shortly. Do you place the dynamite into the crevice that has been discovered by Lampwick?
Yes.
And the two of you work together to do that. I'm not going to make you make any rolls. You take your time and you carefully pull out this block of cinder block. Juniper, what are you doing in the time that they're moving this dynamite around?
I want to check the door to see if it's still like openable, because just if it was damaged in the blast.
There are locks that seem to have been bent, but you don't have keys to the locks that have been inset into these large iron latches that have been slid across like bars. And the door itself does look like it is buckled inward. And so there are a lot of bent hinges, and you're not certain how easily it would open even if you wanted it to.
That answers my question. I just wanted to check it out and then head back in to check on the kids.
Do I have a moment to ask a question of my companions?
Absolutely. If you wish to talk with one another, please do.
Yeah, I'd love to chat some. Also.
Hey, so we have a lot to talk about, and now that we're securing this dynamite, the next thing we need to do is we need to make sure that doctor doesn't come back and get us.
I did make like a kind of a mess with that head.
Doctor?
I was trying to get the head out of the way, and then I forgot that it was like full of blood. So there is
head?
there is Romero blood all over the ground. So
I know, because there's a lot of things you're doing with heads lately. So
I don't.
So we need to maybe see if there's some spare blankets or something, but we need to put down some blankets wherever we see any of that goo, any of that blood. We got to cover it. We can't come into contact with it. And we need to make sure that the doctor, who's now dead, doesn't come back dead to try to get us. How do we take care of that? Are someone gonna cut off the doctor's head? How do we make sure these things don't come back? Now that we've seen so many surprises, how do we know? Seen so many Romeros revealing all these different sides to them.
Juniper, you want to handle beheading the doc?
Okay.
Lampwick, do you remember Batman before all of this?
Yeah, I do.
So, keeping that in mind, any idea what's going on with Harvey Dent right now?
No. Right now, your guess is as good as mine, but we need to... Hey, look, I've never seen that. I've never known anything other than what you and I know. And, I'm relying on that right now for us.
We still haven't even eaten dinner yet.
We need to eat.
The dinner on the table is now very cold.
As long as it's still food.
And I need to fix you up about as much as I can. I did some stuff in the fields before.
Yeah. Achira, we need to have another really more serious talk. We need to change your game plan when it comes to a couple things, and I'm just gonna be upfront. I trust you. I know you got my back, and I hope you know that I got yours. And I get you. More than you know, I get you. And I think I get why you do what you do. And I think you get why I do what I do. So I just want to let you know, really, things aren't working for us like they may have once worked. We need to be better, I think, at keeping people around us on our side.
We can't be fast and loose with connections like we were before, because that ends up with dynamite being thrown outside your door.
Right, right. And look, I had a moment earlier, and I all I when shit was going down, and they were looking for the keys, my instinct, because I knew I clocked Rowan was out to get you. I don't know what happened. I knew something turned. I knew where the keys were. I knew where the keys were, but I knew that she was going to use that moment to try to do something to you. And I'll tell you right now, my first instinct was to keep you safe. And I tried. I'm not in great shape, but I tried for a moment to keep her distracted at least for a moment so that you, because I know you and you're smart and you're quick. I knew you'd figure something out. But look, we can't rely on that anymore. I need you. I need you. I need someone to have my back, and I need you to have my back, and I need you to know that I have your back. And we need to have each other's back so that we can take care of the one that's over there, because I think she needs us.
Uh, I the doctor saw what you did to Chuckwagon. I saw it too.
I know, and
And
you
I
know what?
knew I knew what it was,
I know.
even though I said it was something different. I knew what it was. And I got her to agree to at least patch you up
Thank you. You saved my life.
because I didn't want to see you die. And I've all of us have a real heavy past. All
You
of
know,
us do. I feel like
uh,
mine's heavier than others, but I'm not this isn't the oppression Olympics or something.
nah.
So
Hey,
um
look, I got two things I want to say if I can. Uh, one, uh, well, thank you, and also I don't want to be that person anymore. I want to be the person whose instinct is to preserve the person that I know that has my back. And I know what I did, but hey, you know what? In that moment, I didn't feel like I had
I'm
any
not
choice.
judging you though.
No, and I know, and
I
that's
didn't bring that up to judge you because like I
and I
said, I've got a past.
and I know. See, that's the thing is that I know you're not judging me. I know you're not, and that means something to me, more than you know, more than you know. I don't want to be that person, and I need you to help me not be that person.
I'm gonna be there for you, Lampwick. And we're gonna take care of Harvey.
You know what? Do you remember way back when we were in that shack and you took off?
Yeah. Yeah, I do that. Um
Yeah, but you know what you did is you came right back.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Lampwick. I realized that I had left without the oranges and I wanted the oranges.
Hey, guess what? I don't care. I don't need those details. I don't care.
I did
You came
stay
back.
when I could have just taken the orange. I did stay after that.
You got him. Yeah, you know what? I also know that you took some of my shit.
I rescued your shit, thank you. And I took a commission. We've gone over this.
Hey, I'm fine with it because you came back and you stayed.
As they laugh and talk with one another, Juniper, you hear it ringing off the walls as you're working and cutting the head off of the doctor. I'd like for you to make a composure roll for me with no degrees of difficulty, no dice of difficulty, a straight composure roll.
1 failure.
They're laughing at you, Olive. They're plotting. And your hand goes back to what you've hidden in your belt. And you know that if they make one false move, you'll make them pay. But you have to be very, very careful. Do you understand, Olive? It's best to not let them know that you're here. They don't trust you.
Annoying, but we've done it before. We'll do it again.
Both Lampwick and Achira can make a single spot listen check. Lampwick, you are doing so with 2 difficulty dice.
Is there any way to put any of my recon gear in with this, or just no?
I just don't think that you would be using it while you were having a conversation with Lampwick.
I'm going to use competency points. I'll use 2 to make it a 1 degree of... Those are Lampwick's competency points. I'll use 2. It feels like this is something that we need to hear, so I'm going to use 2.
You hear Juniper murmuring to themselves as the sound of a saw cutting through flesh and bone echoes through this large concrete room. The two of you were talking, and for a moment you found a lightness in your situation and your shared bond. However, now you've been brought back to the very dangerous reality of this situation.
Okay.
Achira, you notice Juniper is acting strange.
Hey, Lampwick. I don't know how much of original, and I'm talking original animated series Batman that you watched, but remember in particular when Harvey would be normal and then would become all the way Dent. And that in between, when, you know? And I'm just saying right now.
Got it.
I'm sensing more Dent than I am Harvey. Does that make sense?
Yeah, let me see if I could do something about that.
From the table, Arya mutters, "I didn't dent it. It's not my fault.
Just eat. It's,
It's cold." And she's kind of like, you've got her in a comfortable position, and it's clear that she's still out of it, but it's good to know that she's conscious at least.
Yeah.
I need to know what your actions are in this moment, and then we need to discuss some very serious matters.
I am going to get some food, and I'm going to take it over to Juniper.
The head has been removed from the doctor, and blood pooled across the floor. It is unimaginable, Lampwick. The cut is jagged and cruel, and the head is toppled off of the body. The woman's face is now cold and waxen, and her eyes are still open, and her mouth is hanging agape. And you remember speaking with her. You remember that despite everything that happened, she saved your life. When she didn't have to, and when she hated you, she saved your life. And Juniper is covered in the blood of this action. The children are silent and catatonic underneath a table across the room, clasped onto one another, and the flickering lights make this feel like a dream. as the generator continues to sputter in the room next to you, the two of you.
Upon seeing that and how horrible that sight is, even still, given everything I've seen, I'm gonna tell the kids, "Hey, go back, go in the rooms. Just go in the other room where the beds are. Go back over there for a little while. We'll get you guys some food. Juniper, nice job. I got some food for you. Let's come eat together."
Yeah, that'd be great. Why did you make me cut the head off this ding dong?
Hey,
It's a mess.
look at this. Look at this thing I got on my side. I can't do it. You're like you're like 10 times stronger than me right now,
You're not
especially.
dead yet. You've been through a lot, huh?
Yup. We all have. Come on, let's go. Let's go sit. Come. I don't know if you've actually met our new friend here. I don't know how well acquainted you've gotten, and I'm gonna introduce the two. If Juniper hasn't met Arya, I'm gonna make sure that happens.
Yeah. And when Juniper comes over, Achira's going to hand her a wet rag to clean any blood that she has off of her hands so that she can eat. Unless I don't, is there doesn't seem to be running water in this bunker, yeah?
There is not. There are a number of large barrels with sour, stale water that has been gathered most likely too long ago and has been sitting here for some time. There are supplies on the shelf. There are some small amounts of various electric cookware that have been wired together here. There are small burners. Everything is run off of that solitary generator with a few cans of gasoline that have been kept here. When you pull the cinder block section away from the wall, you discover a small area that has been dug and hard packed into the actual earth. And it is connected to what you realize is an internal system that is connected to the air vents.
Mm.
There are small vents that are too small for an adult to pass through.
Kids.
Chira definitely notes that, and whoever else saw it notes it, but then walks over and hands the clean, wet cloth to Juniper. Thank you for taking care of that. I couldn't have done it. I spent a little too much time with her, so I just want you to know you're appreciated.
I would like for both of you to make calm other checks. And I'm sorry, then you may respond, Juniper. I'm sorry, Olive?
That was my last failure, right? On my.
That was your last failure.
Okay, I wasn't sure. Sorry.
You are doing wonderful work.
Wow.
That's
the first.
Work that way.
5
Like, the other way.
degrees of failure. That is 98% that you've rolled.
Wow.
Let's see if Achira can improve that in any
I'm going
way.
to use a competency point to bring that
Oh,
down.
you have 3 degrees of success. You're going to use a competency point to bring it down. I will accept that, and I will allow that to prevent it from being catastrophic. You start to stumble over your words.
I'll put in some. How many would I need for this to go well?
If you put an additional competency point in, then that will make it much better than it is currently. All you're going to do is mitigate Lampwick's failure, and then you're going to ride on your own success.
Okay, I'll put it in. Still have to save some for that first aid check.
Juniper, go ahead or Olive, make a composure check, and let's see how you do. No additional dice needed.
1 success.
That is, with Achira's successes, enough for Olive to rescind and for Juniper to take hold, as you are no longer feeling threatened.
Are we gonna eat or not? Gosh.
Yeah, it's It's right here. Do you need me to feed you now too? Come
No,
on.
shut up! Ugh, gross.
I'm gonna take whatever is in my hand. I'm gonna like put it in Juniper's face.
You suck. Ugh. Hey,
What
kids,
it-
come eat! I yell over to them.
What is on the table, Achira?
They ended up making a bunker jambalaya. So there was rice, tomato sauce. There was some dried chicken stock that they were able to rehydrate with some MRE dehydrated sausage they added into there, and a bunch of sardines, including Cajun seasoning. And yeah, very actually pretty tasty and hearty for what it is, bunker jambalaya.
Eventually, the children do join you, although they are very skittish, but they are very hungry as well. And all of you eat around the table as Arya continues to sleep.
Man, Arya seemed like she was doing a lot better when I met her in the tunnels, but she's like all super sleepy. I mean, I got beat up too, but I'm not still sleeping. What's wrong with her? She's sick?
Yeah, she's sick.
You know, there's different kinds of sickness. So, you know, there's some that stick around longer than others, and that's kind of what Arya has right now.
Yeah. You know, she's I think I've been able to observe the symptoms of withdrawal. I mean, that's something I've seen.
Oh, she like loves drugs. Okay, I get it. I understand that. You don't have to talk down to me.
How
No,
how many survival points do each of you have?
I have 75.
150.
45.
That's good. You enjoy your meal. All of you eat together. It seems as if tensions have changed. The bunker feels a little less threatening, although there is still the lingering ghost of everything that has occurred here. Perhaps you have forged a new alliance and understanding of each other this day. However, with the door damaged the way it is, we needed to make some long-term determinations. How long are you here? And what do you do? I will tell you, given the cave-in on the other side of your door, it is unlikely that you will quickly remove yourself from this situation. My first question is this. Do you choose to use the dynamite to try to free yourself?
Not yet, I don't think.
Until it's desperate?
Well, I am desperate right now. I need to have some time to heal. Any little thing I do aggravates it. I'd like if we could just have a day here. And maybe there's some medicine in here that we haven't seen that can disinfect it and I don't know, seal it. Maybe cauterize it again. I think we tried that.
I'd like some downtime, like in the bunker, like however we might want to do that, and then be able to look at the escape afterwards.
I need a rest. We need a break.
You have assessed the resources at your disposal. Given the water and the food that you have present, and your ability to deal with the human waste in buckets and to try to keep the environment somewhat hygienic, at least enough so that you're not spreading horrid disease in this space, a lot must be done. A lot of work is going to need to be done. And Lampwick, you are in no shape to perform any sort of long-term manual labor. Short bursts, you might be able to produce at a great risk some results, but you are effectively useless in the carrying out of any of the day-to-day functions of this place. Arya has a very deep problem. She has substance abuse issues that have, in many ways, paralyzed her in this situation. She is also of very little use to you unless you wish to form some sort of ability to close her away from the drugs that she needs. And at that point, she will begin to undergo withdrawal. As we've discussed, Juniper is very fragile in this place, and given the perceived danger, her mental well-being must be accounted for as you progress forward. There are 2 children present. Achira, you are the only individual that is in good health, as it were, although you are battered and bruised from the events that have brought you here. With the current state of things, we are going to barter together your resources and your skills to see how long you can comfortably survive within this place. Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay.
Is there anything that anyone would like to suggest or prioritize?
Yeah, a list of things. Tell me when to shut up.
I will remind you that your resources of labor are limited.
Right.
There is only so much that you can do. In fact, if the rest of you are incapacitated in some way, Achira, you will be very much in demand to perform the day-to-day activities that will keep this place functional and safe.
I want to see about things that we can find that can help ease this burden on all accounts that we have, and I'm willing to spend whatever survival points we have. Any kind of for me, first and foremost, any kind of medicine or anything that can help me. Any games, because I need Juniper, and I need Juniper to be in as joyful, playful, in a state of ease. And I think boredom is gonna make that worse. So if there's like a deck of cards or anything that we can have that we find here that can help us pass the time together, I want to see if I can find something like that.
How many of your survival points are you willing to spend on that?
On these 2 items, the medicine and the games, I suppose. How about 50?
You currently have how much again?
150.
150. So 1/3 of your survival points for games and some medicine. Are you asking for painkillers or antibiotics?
I'm asking for all of the above. Oh, but I know we have something that makes me loopy and helps me sleep, but antibiotics would be fantastic.
What I will do is I will take your 50 and I will mitigate that into the proper usage of the doctor's medication that was left behind as you had witnessed her cutting the pills and separating them. If you recall, there was a failsafe that was placed into the pills. Every 10th pill is rat poison.
She had separated those out of a bottle that she gave me.
You have the single bottle, which you know to be clean. You will have no chance of poisoning yourself with the use of these handmade pills. Along with a number of boxed games, there is a game board for checkers. There is a set of playing cards. And there are a number of books that are also inside of a crate. Additionally, Lampwick, you discover a CB radio that has a set of wires that are connected to a tube that is leading through the air shaft.
Huh. I point that out to everybody.
Oh, that'd be good. Get some contact with the outside.
Should we see if there's someone on the other side? Maybe there's someone that can help us get out of here.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth a shot.
On
before
the dial taped next to it is written in scratchy lettering, Channel 9.
Do we want to do that before or after the rest of us?
I want to hear the rest of everything. I'm letting you know kind of what's there. So let's move forward. Achira, what is it that you're trying to accomplish in the time and the space that you have?
Okay. For one thing, Achira does not have a really good history with either enclosed spaces that she cannot leave or a lot of people relying on her. So this is a lot. So they won't be staying if you're thinking like, oh, they'll be here for months. No, we're thinking like a week tops before Achira is scratching at the walls and giggling to herself. So and a week's a lot of time when time exists. So what she would be doing, she would hit the storage area. Dynamite is, a hell of a weapon. She would be looking for other things that might do what that could do on a smaller scale. And what I mean by that is like just maybe not necessarily explosives, but smaller things to be able to, it's just not like a boom like dynamite. There has to be something smaller, shovels, pickaxes, whatever.
How many survival points are you willing to spend on something?
Well, I only have 75, so 25. That's a third of what I've got.
Not for explosives, I'm afraid.
Well, no, I'm saying I don't want explosives, but something smaller than that can be utilized if it's
Something that could break the rubble.
yeah.
I will allow you to find a toolbox for 25 survival points that would have a few heavier duty tools, a crowbar, and a number of other things that you might be able to use to, if you were to unlock the door, maybe pry it open.
That sounds good.
So 25 survival for that. Juniper, what about you? Is there anything that you're seeking?
I think even though I think I would trying to decide what character would do. I would want to do. Would I have noticed the? You said there were like people, like small person-shaped tunnel, like holes coming out of the bathroom area or something, some sort of shaft.
No, there's a shaft that is part of the air vents, and it was
Oh.
discovered because there was a block of cinder blocks that had been used as an access panel to enter into the area where they were carved into the stone itself.
Okay.
And there is a series of vents that apparently are where the air is coming through to this place. They're very small, however.
My size small or like child size small?
It would be child size small.
All right. I
My
don't think I
question
would.
then is, would you use the children then to try to send them forward to find their way through air vents and find help?
Yeah, I don't think I would do that, honestly. So other idea, I think I would, since everyone told me about Arya having a problem, I don't know if I would know how to take care of that, but maybe I would find a way to secure her for a little while so she doesn't go looking around for more drugs.
Do you wish, as a group, to restrain Arya?
Only with her permission.
Is there something that we can use survival points, like, since we know that there's drugs here, is there some kind of a drug that can assist with someone's withdrawal symptoms?
Oh
Like,
yeah.
Only perhaps giving her smaller doses over a course of time to ease her off of her addiction.
We know exactly what drug she uses because she dropped it and spilled it all over the floor. So we could easily just pick that up and
give her a small,
do
taper her off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I need to make some quick decisions here, and all of you will as well. I hate to tell you this, despite your hopes that this would be 1 week, it is going to be 3.
Oh no.
And you have enough food and water to comfortably keep 4 people fully sustained
6 people
for 2 weeks. So we're going to be rationing some of this. And some of you are going to be under a great amount of duress during this time period?
Probably after the first 4 to 5 days, Achira's probably trying to tunnel out of there.
Before we will go through this a week at a time. For 1 week, you know that you're not going to rush yourself through this situation. And are you rationing food at that time?
Oh yeah, I think that we've taken full account of everything that we have, and have, I think, planned well. I would like to think.
I could definitely see us planning because this isn't our first rodeo.
No,
Yeah,
You
we
know.
would have been rationing even like in a secured
normally.
fortress. So sure.
At the second week, do you begin to consider drastic measures?
Achira would have unlocked the front door and would have used those tools to start digging.
When do you guys think we would have used that comm system to reach out to somebody?
The problem with the comm system is that it is not functional.
Ah,
If someone is going to spend their time here repairing it or trying to repair it, everyone is going to make a single roll. If you were trying to dig Achira in your second week after realizing that this isn't going to solve itself, then that will be your action. Lampwick, your action then will be to try to repair the CB if that's what you choose to do. And Juniper, whatever you choose to do will be your single focused action. Everyone will be under the effects of some amount of both hunger and dehydration. However, you are able to sustain one activity over the course of your time. And it is going to be assumed that you have spent the rest of your time doing what you can to keep each other alive and as together as possible.
I think for that week I would be. I think I'd be focused on easing people's stress because we have games and stuff, so I'd be focused on taking care of the kids and when people are taking breaks from their work, like having them hang out with the kids and us and kind of doing just sort of basically helping with psyche and morale.
The one individual who is more able than anyone else in this moment is focused on trying to find a way through the rubble that is on the other side of the door. And as you could expect, once that door is pried open, Achira, which takes you a number of days, once the door is pried open, it is solid debris and rock.
She starts crowbarring,
All right.
using a shovel, putting that further off to the side. And
Lampwick, did you choose the radio as your project?
Yep.
And it is something that you can do and still rest, so you are not, extending yourself, although you sleep a lot. And Arya is most likely, with her own permission, locked behind a cage as she is going through intense withdrawal. And she is howling and screaming and cursing, and there is nothing pretty about what is going on in the chamber that you've created for her. And she has been locked away for her own safety, and she begs to be released every once in a while, and you do so, but you very quickly find her drug seeking, and you have to put her back. I need all of you during this high stress situation that drags on for a number of weeks to make a single composure roll. And how many competency do any of you have remaining?
I don't have any.
I have 2 left.
All right.
Since
Did we gain
this is...
any back since time has passed?
You do not in this situation.
As I dig further into the shaft that is not part of the bunker and have to look at, am I digging the right way? Would things possibly collapse on me? It's like this location could be not as stable as, say, the bunker would be. Would it be a location hazard if I keep on digging through the tunnel?
If you were to use more drastic means to move through that rock, yes. However, if you are continuing to just dig on the outskirts of this pile of rubble, you will not have created a tunnel large enough in that second week to create a location hazard.
But I have made a big enough like impact in it so that if we use dynamite and close the door, we might have a shot at it.
At the end of the second week, that might be possible.
Okay.
Nice.
Juniper, you have 1 degree of... which composure is the correct one?
Composure. The second one.
Second one is 1 degree of failure.
Yeah.
I would like everybody else to make their composure roll, please. This is checking your morale.
Now, I do give a bonus to morale if I'm in point
All right.
position. Is that applying in this situation at all? Since I've kind of...
You're not on point.
Got it.
There's no formation here.
There's no formation.
Yes. One degree of success for Achira, which is very good.
Oh.
Lampwick, you have 4 degrees of success. That is very good. And it does determine something very special for us. But we're going to take a 5-minute break, and then we're going to come back. And when we do, we will resolve this situation. Please, don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Hunter's Entertainment as we offer you Outbreak, Undead, Rag and Bone. The survivors have found themselves in an underground bunker, and it has been 2 weeks. They have languished here, rationing their food, and we are resolving now some of those actions to see what the repercussions of their choices might be. There is a decent divot that has been carved into the solid wall of crumbling rock that lies on the other side of the huge iron doors, Achira. Lampwick, sitting in your bed, taking apart and slowly rewiring this CB, you struggle for a week before you finally find a box of fuses in another of the containers within the storage space within the bunker. Using those fuses, you are able to activate the CB radio. Its antenna is connected to the air vent and does have the ability to reach the outside world. It immediately begins to crackle and buzz. We will resolve that in just a moment. Olive, Juniper, your options have been clear. You are hoping to continue to nurture those around you and to keep them entertained. However, you have failed your composure check, and you are having a difficult time. You are sullen and withdrawn. The children are also very quiet. Arya continues to scream this entire time for 2 weeks, constantly, as she has been denied the depressants that she has become addicted to. Removed from that need, her body is rebelling against her, and she is in pain. It is hard to sleep. It is hard to concentrate. However, all of you have continued forward for these 2 weeks, carefully rationing out the food and the water that is available to you. For the final week of your confinement, I would like each of you to give me one intention.
Well, by this point, Achira has dug about as far as she thinks is good. So this last week is more about getting up the courage to just go ahead and blow the tunnel, and not knowing what that might entail. So she's going to spend that time. She's because I succeeded my composure roll, I'm going to say that she's aware of what Juniper has been trying to do with keep everybody's morale up, while she's been single focused like on this tunnel, like have to get out. I don't want people to rely on me kind of a deal. So I think for that last week when she realizes that it's basically dynamite, mess around with dynamite and we'll find out kind of a deal. She's going to spend that week trying to connect with everyone and to then raise spirits, whatever that means.
Very well. You will have no additional competency for this final week. You will be rolling with a single die of difficulty as you have been rationing the food and water that you have been taking. Things are more difficult. Your thoughts are not as clear as they once were. Before we proceed with these rolls, I would like to get everyone's intentions, and then we will make those choices. Juniper, what are you doing in this final week?
I think I would have at some point switched over to try to help Achira, actually, like during the time when she was still working on the tunnel, because I'm like, look, we gotta get out of here. I'm not cool with this anymore. I know we're running out of food. My main concern is making sure the twins make it out of this alive. So I think that would
Working
be our way out.
together is going to make a huge difference in this action. So I will also have you make the same roll as Achira when the time comes, and you will be doing so at a single dice of difficulty as well. Finally, Lampwick, what is your intention for this week?
So the radio now, I know the radio works, but we haven't given it a shot yet. I am kind of doing so. In the third week, I'm assessing morale as well, while I'm doing some making sure that some final housekeeping is done in terms of so none of the mess with the blood, that's still kind of clean.
Do you do anything with the bodies that are in the space?
I feel like we would have definitely have already. I mean, 3
1.
weeks in, we would have already. I would think. I'll spend some survival points on that if need be, because I don't think
you would have what?
We would have
disposed of them somehow.
Yeah, we wouldn't have left them in the middle of the floor with a head. And
I understand, and that can have happened. If you would like to spend survival points, you could wrap and prepare them. I will ask each of you for 5 survival points to be able to wrap and remove the bodies from your sight. However, disposing of the bodies, that is not something that you'll be able to do. And as the weeks go on, the smell of rot and putrid flesh begins to fill the bunker.
Is there any, where do we dispose of our waste? Is there
buckets that you are sealing?
Got it.
And they are quickly becoming full.
Well, what I would like to do in this third week, as part of the housekeeping that I was doing, is making sure that any of the weapons are kind of kept in one area. I want to make sure that anything that's deadly is sort of off to one side, and that we all kind of know where it is. But if people are starting to get frazzled, my concern is that people start to lose their shit and start to get aggressive. So I'm trying to kind of
your intentions are to find and hide any weaponry.
Yeah, just to kind of keep it secure. Yes. But I'm kind of doing the housekeeping now. I'm not sneaking around and hiding things from people. I'm just making sure I know where it is.
All right. So
it's secure.
Attached to that, due to your second week, on the third week, you will have the radio functional, and we will have you use the radio at the end of that time. However, I need you to make a stealth roll with a single black die of difficulty to be able to find and hide the weaponry that is not currently on a person. If someone is carrying something, it's not going to be easy for you to do that. Again, you are healing. You are in horrible shape. Over the weeks, your wounds have healed. However, not to the point where they are fully healed. And you have also not been in ideal circumstances to be able to allow yourself to heal correctly. You're not eating well. The water is off. So you're going to make a stealth roll. Juniper and Achira, you both are going to be making lift pull checks. And you each have one single black die of difficulty. as you are trying to prepare the space. And does that include doing anything else?
Well, Achira was going to try to connect with people because she's not sure if this might be the last week of her life.
Mm-hmm. I need to see a roll from Achira so that I can assess the overall situation. So go ahead and make a lift pull to prepare the doorway. And Juniper actually has 2 degrees of success. Lampwick, you have 4 degrees of failure. I think you find some things and you hide them, but they're not well hidden. There's nowhere to really hide things. You've placed things under beds and under couches. You don't even know if you found all of the items because you're not able to move around easily. You constantly find yourself needing to rest and being pulled down by the weight of your situation. Achira, that's 1 degree of failure. Does anyone have any competency left that they wish to spend in this final week?
Well, that was with 1 difficulty dice, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. No, she's been digging straight for not straight for about 2 weeks. That makes sense. Where it's just like you kind of gotta rest for a bit.
Yeah, I think that your hands are ruined. I think that you have really put yourself through. I mean, they're covered in calluses.
There's no work gloves. There's no work gloves down here. I'll spend survival points on work gloves.
I will take 5 survival points from you and give you work gloves. But I will additionally tell you that your hands are cramped, your muscles are sore, you are exhausted, and you are running out of steam very quickly. With Juniper at your side, however, both of you have made significant progress. And you do have an alcove that has been burrowed out into the rock. It's becoming unstable. As you continue to dig, you notice that it seems as if things want to fall. Rocks want to crumble.
Is it hazardous?
It has become a location hazard. However, all of you are half starved. The food is entirely gone because of Lampwick's failures. Your role has to be attended to. With no food, very little water remaining, the group becomes desperate. There is a horrid reek that cannot be removed, as you are now in the middle of a space that has a pair of rotting corpses in it. There is a sickly pallor to all of you as you realize something must be done. And in the darkness of one of these nights, as you push forward, Lampwick, fiddling with the radio, there is a spark. And as you finally tune it correctly to channel 9, you hear a voice.
Can anyone read me? Over. Can anyone read me?
I motion to everybody and I respond. We read you. Is 10-4? I recognize your voice.
Yes.
Oh,
who is this?
It's Lampwick. It's your rag and bone.
For fuck's sake, are you guys still in the tunnels?
We're in the tunnels, man. We are barely hanging on. We need some help. I don't know what you can do to help us, but we're down here.
Look, these places are a maze. We've been trying to find you. We've got a rough idea of your location. Can you confirm any details? Like, what do you remember as you were coming into the safe house?
Hold on. Well, there's other people here that probably know better than I do because I was a little out of it for a little while. And I call Juniper and Achira over.
Yeah.
There were letters. I know there were letters, but I don't remember what letters.
It was baseball figures, I want to say, and we're near Carlton.
I don't know if you heard that.
Like
10-4, but
we've been down here for so long, and the walls keep closing in. I remember Carlton, and we kept on moving forward from there.
Oh, for fuck's sake! This the map we have must be out of date. It has old names here.
What are the names? I would remember if you said the names.
Let's see. We've got all right, so starting here from where we are, we just finished clearing this tunnel that's called Little Pig.
No,
That's
the tunnels I know were people. They were like they were the names of people, and I think it was sports people
I
like
see nursery
DiMaggio
rhymes
and
on my map.
Carlton.
um,
There's a lot of dirt in front of our door. We're in the tunnel that's completely exploded. I don't
A
know if
lot
that's
of shit's
helpful.
exploded right
Okay.
now, you guys.
All right. Well,
This whole place is starting to come down. We got very limited time to try to get you, and I need to try to figure out where you are.
We have a possibility of being able to use some explosives to blow part of our tunnel. We might be protected behind it. That might help you find us.
Well, that sounds great if one of y'all's a demolitions expert, but from the little that I knew about this crew, I don't seem to remember that being a trait that any of y'all have.
nope.
You're
How hard-
working in a
how hard can
confined
it be?
space.
You just light it and you stick it in a hole, right? And then
Kaboom!
And kaboom, and the whole roof comes crashing down on top of you.
Yeah, it might make the cave in worse. I guess. Is there any way? I mean, I don't know. I do remember that sound traveled. Like when we were down here, we were able to hear people that were further down a tunnel. So I don't know if it's even worth just trying to holler through the tunnel where we're at. Maybe you're close enough to be able to hear us.
maybe we could yell through the air vents.
Well, I say let's try both. Anything that
Weak.
can try to help them.
Weak and quiet from Arya's cage, you hear DiMaggio.
Isn't that what I said?
You said Carlton DiMaggio.
Then I said DiMaggio.
Yeah. Oh, well then, yeah. You guys know better than I do.
Achira's right. DiMaggio.
Baseball, right? He's the one that I don't remember. Was it something with Marilyn Monroe or something? I think, but DiMaggio.
DiMaggio. Yes, there is that. Yes, and that's the tunnel. That's the last name that we saw. The marking. I guess it looks like the bunkers are named or the tunnels are named. DiMaggio.
Look around the bunker. What do you guys see? You said there's air tunnels.
There's supplies here. There's some medical supplies. There's is there anything in particular that you're looking for that might tell you what this is?
Do you see any codes or anything around?
Any codes?
We haven't been looking for that.
They were nuts. I mean, the people in Grey Ridge, they were trying to protect it. When we came down here looking to salvage, we knew what their situation was. I think I know. What are the other passageways? Little Pig and what?
I see we got a Humpty Dumpty, there's a Hickory Dickory. It's all these fucking old nursery rhymes.
Oh.
Humpty Dumpty. Yeah. And this is coming from the cage, so you have to relay anything back to 10-4 because 10-4 can't hear Arya from where she's locked up right now.
Yeah, I know this. I know these rhymes. Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty Dumpty together again. And then, what was the other one that you said?
Hickory Dickory.
Little pig, let me in. It's like something like cows are in the field and the something in the corn. There's more to it, but it's like
I'll huff
little pig,
and
little
I'll
pig.
puff and I'll blow your house in.
Yeah, there's that. And then Hickory Dickory Dock, the mouse ran up
the clock.
The clock struck 1. The mouse ran down. Hickory Dickory Dock.
I'm just gonna look around the room and see if there's anything that helps us clue him in as to where we might be.
It's where the tunnels go.
It's where the tunnels go.
Hickory Dickory Dock goes up?
The house. The wall. down.
Humpty Dumpty must be down. He has a fall.
No, the wall. Humpty Dumpty's on the wall.
Got it. There it is. I'm not the smartest one here.
No, I'm sorry. Can I have some water?
I'm gonna get her some water.
Sorry, I can't help. I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Is that 10-4?
That's 10-4, yeah.
Don't. Did you tell him about
No,
the doctor?
not yet.
You think he's gonna help us if he knows?
He might
Well-
not. I think we'll tell him when he gets to us.
Do we have to volunteer the information of what happened?
I think
mean,
he's gonna find out.
Yeah, well, I'm assuming that he's here to take care of us too. I mean, we've been working with him for a long time now. Can't imagine why we wouldn't assume he's gonna help us.
At this point, you're all very weak. Everyone is exhausted and pulling themselves to continue these daily tasks. The children sleep all the time now. Is there anything that you wish to say to 10-4 before I make you make a final composure roll?
I just don't know how to help him know where we are. I was in and out. I don't know how to make sense out of this.
I mean, I guess Achira would. I mean, she said the information that she knows. She would describe how her and the doctor went through the tunnels, what she remembers going past Carlton to DiMaggio, that they came from the opening, the mine shaft that was the wall connecting to the mountain. So it wasn't like from the house, but if they're talking about the house tunnel, they were heading there, but then they turned off and went for the safe house.
Well, a juniper came from the wall, or a juniper came from the house.
House. Yeah.
We came from I don't know where I came from. I was with Rowan. You came from the wall. So, are we somewhere in between those two locations?
I will allow each of you to make a final composure check, and depending on how you do, I will allow you to make a navigation check.
Any difficulty? Dice?
There are going to be 2 difficulty dice added to your composure roll. Again, your morale is very low.
What?
That is 1 degree of failure for Juniper, which means 2 failures on composure collectively so far. 2 degrees of
Oh.
success for Achira.
Can that be part of the party? So we just like.
Let's see how Lampwick does.
I got 1.
Oh, you got 1 degree of failure. So you wish to make this a wash, or do you wish to use some of your newfound location hazard competency points?
Oh right. I'll put 1 in to make this. He knows where we are.
Well, this is the competency, or I'm sorry, the composure check to get you to the navigation roll.
Oh.
So you do have another roll after this you may wish to save it for.
Okay. I'll still put 1 in for
To
us
make it a
so that we're
success.
to make it a success for everyone.
Very well. Now, the group as a whole can work together to make a navigation check. One of you can designate yourself as the individual who will make the roll, and the other 2 can make supportive rolls, and we will add all of your successes or failures together.
Oh boy.
I have a 13 in advanced in navigation.
You are not required to assist. If you do not feel that you can add anything to this, if you feel like your roll might detract from this, you may abstain.
Is there anything that can be added into it if you spent extensive time in the tunnels like Achira did?
I will
With the-
allow
with
you
the
to,
guide?
yes. Yes, I will allow you to use your recon gear.
Okay. Then I would I've got a 3 in recon gear, so I would, and a 43 for navigation, so I would try to be lead on this then Achira would.
Does that work for you, Juniper?
That's fine.
So, Juniper, you will roll to support, and Achira will make the roll, and your successes will be added together. And do not forget, Achira, to use your equipment. Juniper already has 3 degrees of success.
I'm staying out of this.
I'll use 3 competency points, so that'll make it 4 degrees of success.
As you take paper and an old pencil that you found and begin to sketch out the route that all of you took to get to this bunker, it takes hours. And you're sitting around a flickering candle flame. The generator and the gas that you have rationed is almost gone. You have enough for a few hours of power, and you have been conserving it as you move along. And so as all of you sit around this sad dinner table, you sketch out the paths that you took to get here. And Achira, it is almost too difficult for you.
With 4 degrees of success?
You, this is narrative. You manage to find a thread of willpower and to grab onto it and to power through it. And in the middle of it, you and Juniper come across a number of breakthroughs. There are a number of individuals that were marked upon the walls. You cannot recall the exact placement of each. However, they are figures who are inducted within the Baseball Hall of Fame. Their last names are meant to denote passageways. Finally, what you're hearing from the maps that 10-4 are trying to use to locate your group, maps that must have been either given to them from the survivors of Grey Ridge or those who were working to try, whoever those people may be at this point, because you have no idea. But working with 10-4, someone has given them this information about how the passageways, the main segments of this mine, have been divided. And there are 3 divisions, and they are based on the openings and where they are located. The wall, the one that is closest to the wall, the one that leads to the house, and then the final, which is the furthest back in the mountainside in the Grey Ridge property. None of you traveled through that 3rd passageway. The passageways that were used by your group were the first 2. If you recall, there were a number of cave-ins. You had worked your way through a segment of the mine shaft after more attacks rose from the Romeros that were below with all of you. At the end of it, you're certain that your pathway is clear and that you should be able to relay this information across the CB to 10-4. How do you do this?
At this point, I've handed Achira and Juniper the comm, because they're the ones that are putting this together.
Achira would hand it over to Juniper because they worked together to, like, Juniper was in it with her, with like seeing where everything was, and during that process, Achira was describing baseball players to Juniper.
So you're gonna get onto the radio and try to hail 10-4?
I guess so.
Okay, so the radio crackles to life, and the first voice you hear is not 10-4.
I copy you. What do you got going on there? This is Big Red. I need answers. Who the hell is this?
Big Red. Do I know who Big Red is? Just
You've never heard
talk.
this.
Okay.
You've never heard this name before.
Wrong person. Is 10-4 there? Can you switch? Is he there?
Ah, shit, yeah. We got 10-4 here. Hold on. Hold on. Let me see if I can hail him down. Y'all are in a pinch, aren't ya?
I don't know what that means.
You're in a tight space. Hold on, I'll find the boss.
Okay.
A moment later, there's another crackle, and 10-4's voice appears.
All right, did you guys figure out what's going on down there yet?
Yes, and it involved me learning what baseball was, so I hope you're happy. This is so stupid. Can I just, explain to him how you explain that we know where we are? Or everything. I just explained to
yeah,
10-4 kind of where we are, and also, but I'm not saying any of the names of baseball players, right? I don't understand any of the references. Like the stories don't make any sense to me. The names don't make any sense to me. It's just a lot, and I think I was the worst person to explain it to him. But here we are.
I'll intervene if ever she's like completely going off track. Then I'll be like, okay, this is what we arrived at.
I'm gonna say that collectively you all work through it, but Juniper, absolutely, you don't understand what any of these words mean. You recall the words, you just don't recall that they mean anything. You don't have a context for them. Achira really helped out with all of that, and as a group, weak, spread out across this bunker, you're breathing heavily, you're malnourished, dehydrated, and this crackling radio on the last of the energy that you have present, as that sputtering, noisy generator breathes the last of its life with the gasoline that you have, you make a call. 10-4, you think that you have their location pinpointed now.
So it sounds like, based on everything in that crazy story, we need to have our people run through the Humpty Dumpty segment of the mines, and we should be able to get to you. Now, I've got some hands in the area. We can certainly try to expedite this as fast as humanly possible, but what do you guys have left for resources?
Not like nothing. Crowbar.
We got tools, we got medicine, but we're out of food and we're about out of light and gas. This generator is about to fail on us. We're at the end of our rope.
Don't do anything stupid.
dynamite.
We're on the way. Don't go blowing things up. That's just going to cause more problems at this point.
Roger that.
Maybe if we use like a fourth of a stick.
No, I think we wait. Like we could last at least another 2 days. Just chill, take a nap.
All right. Well, wait.
Let's wait. Let's just try to calm down and conserve oxygen too. If we don't know how that situation.
We've got air vents. We're fine with oxygen.
All right. I'm just gonna sit tight. I'm gonna kind of be near the door to try to like just listen and for their approach.
I would like to sit by the air vents with my crowbar and just like be tapping it, like making noise.
Achira's gonna split the difference, which might make her closer to Arya, depending on where her cage is located. But she's equidistant to Lampwick and Juniper.
Arya seems to be doing, as weak as she is, much better than she had been doing. You think that she's probably through the worst of it now, and she stopped crying out and demanding something to take the edge off. You think that in this horrible situation, even amidst all of the starvation and pain that you've suffered through these past weeks, this might have helped her to turn a corner, but you're uncertain. Lampwick, your wounds have healed significantly. And all I need you to do, for the last time, is to make your composure checks so that we can test against your morale. Each of you have 3 black dice of difficulty.
Oh boy.
And finally, we have a check for Achira.
I'm sorry. I was picturing being like in this bunker with people for 3 weeks, and it completely made me blank. Or is there any difficulty dice on this, or is it just a straight roll?
There are 3.
Oh, okay.
And I will reveal what the other 2 have rolled, though perhaps our audience can tell from their faces.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Oh, that's surprising.
That is very good, Achira. Do you have any competency points left?
I have 1. I have 1 left.
Do you wish to spend it to make this more successful, even though you have 2 degrees of success already?
I don't see how it will help in any way. So I'm just, I'll.
Lampwick and Juniper have both rolled 5 degrees of failure on their competency rolls, which means that Lampwick is unconscious. His wounds and the exhaustion have finally taken him over. Arya is very quiet. The children are silent. You don't know if they're alive any longer, Achira. You yourself are extremely weak, as is Juniper. However, as Juniper begins passing out, you watch as she's tapping this crowbar against this air vent. Tung, 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 tung. Her head droops time after time. And then when it raises the 3rd time, her eyes are locked upon you. And you know that it's not Juniper that you're looking at. Tung, tung. You have succeeded, Achira. You are in control of the situation, and Juniper, in fact, is very, very weak. But whoever this is, you do not see any good intention in their eyes.
We cannot wait any longer.
We don't really have that much of a choice. Sometimes, have you heard patience is a virtue? I've never liked that saying, but my brother, Blaine.
Think of your fucking stories. I get up.
You know, I've got many nicknames.
I get up and I want to walk past her towards
What's
the
a
door.
nickname you like to be called?
You stand up. I need you to make an endurance check with 2 black die of difficulty to see if you can make it across the room. And Achira, you ask the question, and you see that she's stumbling as she stands. She makes it across the room, however. And remember, Olive has all new different competency points that have not been used. So you have 3 competency that you can use.
Not the 5 from my
Oh, well, if you have an ability, then if that's, well, you can use that.
Okay, let's talk about that later, I guess. So I wanted to get up and just walk past her and go towards the door.
Achira, what is your intention when this happens?
The door's still blocked off, but we've got help coming. But seriously, is there a name you prefer to be called?
You won't have to call me anything when you're gone. Just get the fuck out of my way.
I'm not in your way. You can do and go wherever you want to.
Great. Stay right there.
I'm
going to take care of shit for us because you're doing nothing.
I would like to know what to call you. That's all I'm saying.
Not supposed to tell. And I turn around and I keep going towards the door. And my intention, if we're all ready for this shit, is to pull out what I had hidden in my clothes. It is a grenade.
I knew it. Sorry.
And I want to pull the pin, set it down, and I run back to the back of the room.
That is your intention?
That's my intention, yes.
You have 2 black die, and 2 speed dice that you need to roll for me. And I will.
Did they put it in the hole that was already made and close the door, or are they just putting it in the bunker?
The way that I had seen this, and please correct me if I'm wrong, the way that you've excavated this, there's no closing that door easily. It would take an action to close it. It's open, everything's pulled aside, and then you've got a hole that leads into it. You could close the door, but it would take effort to do so. You can't just slam the door like you would a normal doorway. Does everybody understand that, or is that, do you feel?
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I guess I just, because for the fact that I had Achira, like, prepping this time with everybody, and she had prepped this hole to use dynamite, in my head, I had it where it would be, like, place dynamite, close door.
Yes, absolutely.
Like that it's not hugely ajar. It's like, because she knows how hard it is to open and close this door, because she's literally the only person that's opened and closed it.
So you would have had it so that it was only open
it to where it's literally one person goes in, sets the dynamite, and then
shoves
people,
it closed.
Shut it to.
As part of the design of the plan.
I will allow that, as that was your intention and your plan. So, Juniper, or Olive, when you do this, do you close the door?
Yes, I have self-preservation still.
All right.
Achira's gonna run for Lampwick to pull him behind where the door would swing open, like, where the door is, to like yank
me into safety, because I probably passed out closer to the door.
So I need you both to make lift pulls. Achira, you also, but because of your successes, I'm only going to give you 1 die of difficulty on your lift pull. I'm also only going to give you 1 speed die. However, Olive, you have 2 speed die and 2 difficulty die. Please make your lift pulls.
That's 1 degree of failure, but I will use 2 competency points to make that a 1 success.
A good choice.
I only have 1 competency point. It's a grenade, so that's a location hazard, yeah?
You're not, there is a hazard, but the location has already been used as a location hazard. So you've received your competency for that space, and the grenade has been placed. So it is going to be 4 degrees of failure if you use your competency point, or do you take all 5?
No, I'll go ahead and use the competency point, so it's not catastrophic.
Here are your choices then, Achira. You can use Lampwick's body to shield yourself, or you can shield Lampwick's body.
Ew. I hate both of these choices.
Go ahead, Olive, and make me a dodge roll, please.
Any dice of difficulty or anything?
Yes, 2 dice of difficulty. Again, due to the malnutrition. You have 4 degrees of failure. Do you wish to use anything? Do you have anything left to change that?
I will use the 3 out of 5 competency points I have left and get 1 degree of failure instead.
That is enough to allow you to pass through this with only minor injury. You are blown forward as the door is blasted off of its hinges and flies into the space behind you. Achira, what was your choice?
Since Achira ran into danger instead of running to the back of the bunker, I would assume that she wouldn't use Lampwick to shield herself at that point, which means that would by default be the other choice of shielding him with her body.
Make a dodge roll for me, please. No dice of difficulty. One degree of failure. Your ears are ringing, Achira. There is dust and smoke everywhere. An acrid smell. Almost pleasant compared to the smell of the rotting bodies in here. And the buzzing of the flies that started to emerge about a week ago. You hear shouts, muffled in the distance. What the living? What the fuck was that? Quick, over here! 10-4, we found them! And as you were the only person conscious in this bunker at this time, Achira, you loll over, you see that Lampwick is breathing, covered in dirt and dust. You see Olive, Juniper, whoever, lying face down, covered in soot and debris on their face. You see a figure standing in the entryway, what's left of it. There are a series of ropes hanging behind him. 2 other individuals appear.
10-4.
10-4 appears.
For fuck's sake. What the fuck? Alright. You two, quick, start. I need them out of here. Now. Let's go. Alright, is anyone in here even conscious?
You look just like you look on the television.
I get that a lot. But this isn't really the time.
It wasn't.
Can you walk?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
10-4 will make his way over to Achira and offer a hand to help her up.
Achira takes it. And
a number of the Enders arrive. They have cots, and everyone is very carefully rescued from this bunker. And a few days go by. Outside in the remains of the Grey Ridge community, a small camp, surrounded on all sides with the remaining vehicles that are here, have formed a barricade up against the wall. It is a small echo of what the Grey Ridge community once was. It was too dangerous to move them, 10-4. You and some of the caravan have decided to do what you can to nurse most of them back to health here and now. Thankfully, the remainders of that unbelievable herd have been turned away. It has not been easy. And there's still more to salvage. And so while your people work, Juniper, Lampwick, and Achira have spent some time healing. Juniper, you have returned upon waking. Olive has rescinded. Lampwick, you are conscious as well. And all of you are currently suffering from an additional injury. Starvation. So for a set period of time, you will be very, very ineffective at the things that you might try to do. However, you are thankfully in the care of the Ender's line. 10-4, you are with them on a daily basis. Your operational caravan has been your base of operations here, and you have a CB radio with which you have been communicating with other members of other communities in the area. And you're very eager to get down to the bottom of what exactly happened. Not only were these individuals retrieved, the body of Dr. Maria Espinosa and a severed head was found rotting in this bunker alongside them. Of all of the Grey Ridge community, 5 people have survived. In the distance, there are the remains of the farmhouse, which has been salvaged. It was not burnt to the ground, thanks to the quick work of your people. The walls are being repaired, but it is going to take at least a year to make this an operational community again. And even then, you're not certain that anyone is going to want to live here or start again. I leave the four of you now to talk amongst each other around a small fire that is burning, as a number of the Enders serve you a meal. Many of you are propped up in lawn chairs that have been through absolute hell, but have been welded back together many times. You sit there in a circle. 10-4, what would you like to say to these individuals?
Well, now that we've got you all on the mend, which one of you here wants to tell me just what the fuck happened with this job? The
Citadel happened.
What do you mean?
The Citadel came in, probably blew the tunnel.
Well, I'm aware of that. Right when the tunnel was blown, Rowan went ahead and reached out to us and let us know that they'd gone ahead and detained a rowdy group of ours that was causing some problems and making things slowly but surely worse.
Wow.
Now, she wasn't she was a little vague about where exactly in the tunnels you were. We certainly could have gotten to you earlier if all of my attempted follow-up broadcasts had gotten anything other than ghosting.
We didn't hear anything. We were stuck down there trying to survive.
Now I understand that. Lambwick. But what I mean is, how the fuck did we get to the point where all of you were trapped inside of a bunker?
Well,
that's not what this job was.
No, not at all.
It was a simple job. It was something that we do time and time again on this line. You just had to go to one of the outposts, grab a package, and get it to this community. A community that we desperately needed within this alliance. The Ender's line, if you didn't understand that, it's all about resources. Now, when I say that, a lot of people think about food, water, meds, building materials. That's not the resources that I actually care about. That's not the resource that I am devoting my entire existence to try to make this all work. The resource is people. People like the three of you. People like the doctor that we desperately needed. Do you understand how rare those types of skills are?
I think we do. And
so how did we get here?
Well, let me.
We didn't expect the Citadel. That's
like a lot of bad things happened. That was not just the Citadel though. Like I think it's been a long time since first we went to get the package, and then there was like a Romero who was super big, and we got trapped, and then Achura left for a little bit, and then came back, and then on the way to deliver the package, there was a lady who sang, an old lady, and she definitely turned her weird child into a Romero inside the house and almost killed everyone. Like a lot of bad things kind of snowballed on us.
Okay, slow down.
There was a tank in there.
Let's take this one step at a time.
Yes, folks. that's what I would like to do. But I want to start off with the fact that we actually arrived and did what we needed to do. We did bring the resources to this place. But there's a lot that you don't know, 10-4. There's a lot there. There's Romeros that are not the Romeros that we have assumed them all to be. Look, I understand what you're saying. I understand your concern, but if you just give me a minute, I'll pinpoint to you, I'll outline to you exactly what we're up against. Because I'm with you 100%. First, we have seen evidence of Romeros that think that that are fast, that have skills that we never ever seen before.
They can talk.
They can talk.
They stalk you. There's ones that seem like they pick up your scent.
So what we were up against was an intersection of that made the shit show. This Grey Ridge was not equipped at all on their own. Whether we were here or not, this was going to go down the way that it did. There was some explosion that happened that none of us were here to see. It was one of their people that made this shit show start the way that it did. So,
or maybe it was the Citadel that made it happen. I don't know.
That's the other thing too.
They got here too quick.
And they're not on our side, man.
Look, I get it. The Citadel are a pain in the ass. But they're on our side.
But why would
generally speaking? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I implicitly trust these people. There's a lot at stake here and a lot at play. And believe me, I'm aware of a number of things. The reason why you got that response is because I cashed in so many fucking favors to make that response happen.
But who made that necessary for you to have to do? Because
that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Taken us out. They caved that in. They trapped us
in. They buried us alive.
To leverage that against you. They used that to leverage against you so that you cash in all those favors. But they're the ones that caused that need to happen. So look, I the problem that I'm seeing right now is that we're gonna eat our own. Where the Romeros aren't eating us, we are eating our own.
But I'm trying to piece this all together here, because believe me, like I said, Rowan has been a pain in my ass among a number of other people over at Citadel. But they always come and play ball. So what I need to understand is, when exactly did they become involved in this process? Was the Citadel at 113 when you arrived?
No.
Was the Citadel the ones that burned down the outpost that you were to get the supplies from? That started a raging fire throughout this entire area?
I want to say that I wasn't there during that. I'm just putting that out there, so I don't know the answer to that.
Look, I'll tell you. I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. Look, 10-4, that's where we first encountered this giant Romero that had a chainsaw. Okay, look, we weren't properly set up to deal with the way things are changing, and mistakes were made at that particular outpost. But I don't know if any of us deserve blame, because no one was expecting to confront what was waiting for us there, hunting us, stalking us. They slaughtered the rest of our group and pinned them up, left them there as a warning for us. They didn't devour them. They played mind games with us.
Well, first of all, Lampwick, this isn't about blame. Let's make that clear. This is about understanding.
I'm all about that.
Understand what has happened here and how we got to the place that we are.
That's what I want to express to you. Look,
real quick, where the fuck are Chuck Wagon and Abigail and Stacy?
They didn't survive the Romero slaughter, basically. I've never seen so many Romeros in one place ever in my life.
You've got to be fucking kidding me.
Yeah, Abigail turned to Romero, by the way, and kept telling me to come join her. Yeah, sorry, we never really got around to talking about this, but it was back when I first got into the mines. She followed me somehow through doors and was singing at me that same song that old lady was singing.
Was she like the one that they were calling Blockbuster? The
Wait
one
a minute.
The one that had the head and had the mark?
Yes,
the mark in his
forehead.
head?
I don't remember there being a mark on Abigail, but I mean,
Well, I mean, was she like how he was acting, where he could talk and it was like he could reason and think?
Abigail was more like singing at me a lot and telling me to come to her, and that not so much talking back to me as just saying the same things over and over, and it was very scary.
That's still weird.
So that sounds like, wait a minute. And then I'm pretty sure she's the one who turned Blockbuster, but then it sounds like Blockbuster was like a more advanced version of her. Am I getting this right?
All right. This is a lot of information for me to process here. Notwithstanding the sheer level of fuck up that all this was, I'm going to get you all back on your feet. Now, I need to chew some of this over, admittedly, and decide exactly what we're going to do with this information and this whole situation and the entire clusterfuck that this has become. And you guys have a lot of ground to cover with me, because all of you, for the most part, other than you, Lampwick, are pretty new to this whole Ender's Line. And it would be one thing if Abigail was still here. It would be one thing if I could look her in the eye. She was my inside individual, my true friend. I've known Abigail for years. Abigail has been walking the Ender's Line since we got this all started.
Sorry for the loss of your friend.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But you guys got a lot of ground to cover with me, and a lot of proving yourselves to do. And believe me, this mission does not get you off to a glowing start. However, like I said, I'm big on resources. And y'all, I believe, are valuable resources. We're going to get you patched up. We're going to chat a little more. And I think I have an idea of what you guys could do to start paying back a little of the damage that's been done.
I thought being stuck in a cave for like 3 weeks would be sort of like we paid our penance, but okay.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not, my friend. No. And I think you know that well enough. I know enough about you to know that you're not the same as the rest of this group.
I'm younger and prettier.
And you were born in this shit. You ferals are interesting. We'll just leave it at that. I think you could be very beneficial to the Ender's Line. But for now, eat, get your strength back. We'll talk more soon.
And with that, the fire continues to burn lower and lower as the night goes on. The air is some of the freshest, most free air that any of you have breathed before. Arya and Kit and Crash, the two children, are still with you, and you have the security and the organization of the Ender's Line surrounding you. As the night sky spreads out before you, open air, the greatest gift that any of you could have imagined in the 3 weeks of hell that you've just lived through. The Enders have gathered together everything that they could salvage from the mines below and the house before them. Bodies are removed from the house, and these horribly twisted individuals are pulled from the basement. There are boxes and books and crates that are gathered. It does feel as if there is not a total loss here. But 10-4 walks like a man defeated. Weaker than perhaps any of you have ever known him or heard of him before. Lampwick, you are standing next to one of these boxes that have been pulled out from the wreckage of the mine shafts and the bunker. You see many of the things that were in that bunker, some of the medical boxes and crates. But the thing that catches your eye is a small blanket that has been opened up and a large number of VHS clamshell cases. These were Blockbuster's things. And as you stand there, all of them spread before you as they were on the coffee table, while all of you were doing your best to survive in some very harsh conditions. Something catches your eye. A series of small scratches on the side of one of those clamshells. It's faint, but you pick it up and look at it. Down one after the 041 end is scratched onto the interior. You grab another case. Write one. This is my W79 legacy in all caps. And that is where we're going to end our session for today. I would like to thank everyone for joining us, but I would especially like to thank our special guest, Alex, who has joined us for the first time as 10-4. Alex, could you please tell us your socials and where people can find you, please?
And what
absolutely.
day you're born on?
Yeah, so it is my birthday today, and well, for me now, since I am on that East Coast, we're finally past it. The day after my birthday now, but got to hang out with you guys on my birthday, which is fantastic. You can hit me up on socials. So on Twitter, it's at Alex Hillman. Also find me on our, Hunters Discord, and you can bug me via the Hunters social accounts as well. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff.
Thank you again for being with us, and thank you for everything that you do for Rag and Bone. This offering would not be the same without your diligent work, and we appreciate you. Thank you. Finally, I would like to let all of you know that this Friday, on a very special Hunters Gathering, we are going to be playing a continuation of sorts of our Ragnarok game, and we're going to have some very exciting announcements for that very shortly. Please stay tuned to our social medias, and you will see some very familiar faces exploring the world of Ragnarok. It will be a much different experience, but next Tuesday we shall return. Thank you and be well.